think of power in the world of Dragon Ball, one of the first things that comes to mind is transformations. For years, these evolving forms have been the defining symbol of strength in the series. Super Saiyan, arguably the most iconic transformation in all of fiction, was longly regarded as the pinnacle of power in the franchise. As the story progressed, we were introduced to numerous evolutions, Super Saiyan 2 through 4, each one naturally increasing in strength and building upon the last. Then, Dragon Ball Super shifted this pattern by introducing a new kind of enhancement, adding the word God to the form. Instead of continuing the numerical progression, this shift marked a leap into a divine tier of power. The name God felt symbolic, less of a number and more of a statement, as if to say the transformation had reached something limitless. There's still debate in the franchise over whether Super Saiyan God is actually stronger than Super Saiyan 4 in terms of raw power scaling, but narratively it was clearly intended to surpass it. The series as a whole began to move from primal power of the earlier forms to something more divine. Unlike previous transformations, Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue couldn't be assessed through training or emotion alone. These powers came directly from divine energy, bestowed by the gods themselves. Fitting, since it's in their name. Eventually, Goku and Vegeta learned to internalize and master this power on their own, which set the stage for the next major evolution in the franchise. Visually too, the god forms resembled base and Super Saiyan forms more than the radical appearances of earlier transformations, which was likely an intentional choice to reflect this new path. Following that, we were introduced to a new level altogether.
Here it comes.
The Ultra forms. Goku was the first to unlock this power through Ultra Instinct, a divine technique used by the gods themselves. In this state, Goku's strength surpassed even that of a god of destruction. He fights without relying on conscious thought, his body moves instinctually to avoid damage, and attack with perception. One example of this is when Moro attempted a sneak attack, and Goku's body instinctively hardened to block the blow. Another was when Goku used an avatar form of the Ultra Instinct to physically restrain Moro, compensating for the fact that Moro had grown too large for Goku's body to fight directly. This avatar wasn't a separate technique, but an extension of Ultra Instinct itself, an adaptive ability used to maintain balance in the battle. In both the anime and manga, Goku's use of Ultra Instinct was so impressive that even Beerus, the god of destruction, had to acknowledge its defined power at some point in the series. In Japanese, both Super and Ultra are loan words from English. They are often used to signify amplified or extreme power levels, especially in pop culture, and have sort of an unofficial hierarchy in how they're perceived. Here's how the distinction generally plays out. Super is commonly used to show something is above normal. It's powerful, enhanced, or improved. For example, a Super Saiyan, a more powerful Saiyan. Super Mario is Mario, but now he's powered up. Even Dragon Ball Super itself is meant to stand out as being a more powerful series in Dragon Ball, while Z references the end of the alphabet and the series coming to its conclusion. Ultra, however, compares a sense of going even beyond Super, reaching a limit-breaking level. It has a rare, more extraordinary connotation. In Japanese media, when something is called Ultra, it's meant to surpass everything before it. It's a statement. This isn't just another power level up, this breaks the rules of power entirely. Hence why Ultra Instinct, regardless of how strong you think it is, has the most cerebral display whenever it's on screen and is treated like the strongest thing possible, on the level or even surpassing how fusion is depicted in the series itself. It's just the next level. As the story of Dragon Ball progressed, more and more characters began unlocking their own Ultra and Super forms to stay relevant in the new era of power escalation. Following Goku, the next major character to step up into this realm was Vegeta. Up until the Granola arc, Vegeta had access to Super Saiyan Blue evolution, a form that greatly surpassed the standard Super Saiyan Blue, even rivaling the Master version. However, despite its strength, it still couldn't match up to Ultra Instinct. Recognizing this, Vegeta abandoned his pursuit of Ultra Instinct altogether and chose a different path. The path of the gods of destruction. This led him to awaken Ultra Ego, a form that thrives on taking damage. The more punishment Goku endures, the more powerful he becomes, making Ultra Ego a perfect counterpart to Goku's form. Where Goku's Ultra Instinct is the pinnacle of defense and evasion, Ultra Ego is pure offense and growing stronger throughout the battle. Although Ultra Ego is incredibly powerful, it still appears to be in an early stage, somewhat unrefined. Just as Goku first assessing the Ultra Instinct sign before mastering it, it's likely that Vegeta could also develop a more completed version of Ultra Ego down the line. The next warrior to receive an Ultra level transformation was Frieza. After training for 10 years off screen, he unveiled Black Frieza, a form so overwhelmingly strong he was able to defeat both Goku and Vegeta in their Ultra forms with a single blow. Earlier in Dragon Ball Super, Frieza had already acquired his Super form, Golden Frieza, setting up a trend we'll continue to see. Characters receiving both Super and Ultra stages. Tired of being looked down on by the Saiyans and the gods, Frieza pushed beyond his limits and achieved power that shocked even the strongest fighters. Piccolo was the next to join the Ultra ranks. After requesting Shenron to unlock his full potential, he was granted 2 new transformations, The first, often referred to by fans as Lime Piccolo, is considered his super form. The second, his Orange Piccolo form, is his Ultra form. Toriyama himself confirmed that this form puts Piccolo on the same level as Goku and the others. Since Piccolo didn't have a traditional super form like the Saiyans, this progression fits the established pattern, a super form followed by an Ultra form. Gohan also follows this model. His super form is his ultimate Gohan state, or mystic form, already proven to rival Super Saiyan Blue in Dragon Ball Super. His Ultra form is Gohan Beast, which makes his debut in Dragon Ball Super Superhero. In the recent manga chapter 103, it's made clear that in this state, Gohan can rival or possibly even surpass Goku in his Ultra Instinct form. This solidifies Beast Gohan as another powerful entry in the roster of Ultra-level transformations. In the cover art for Dragon Ball Super Volume 24, we see Broly depicted in his green-haired Super Saiyan state. This raises some interesting questions. In the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, the green hair was intended as a tribute to the original legendary Super Saiyan form in Dragon Ball Z. That's why in the manga adaptation, Broly's hair isn't shown as green, especially during moments like when he battles Blue Gogeta, or when he gains control over the Super Saiyan form seen in the movie. However, the manga cover art does show him with green hair, which suggests a few possibilities. One is that Broly will unlock a brand new form in the future, possibly similar to Kale's Berserker transformation in the anime. Another possibility is that this form has always been within Broly, but he simply couldn't assess it because it was due to lack of control or overwhelming rage. Regardless of the explanation though, it's evident that this green hair transformation marks a significant leap in power for Broly. It has already been stated to surpass Cell Max, who required fighters with ultra tier abilities to take down. In addition, during the Broly movie, this version of Broly was strong enough to gut punch and knock back Super Saiyan Gogeta, clearly placing it at fusion level strength. All of this supports the idea that Broly's form fits in right with all the other ultra transformations we've seen, signaling a new stage of power benefiting the series' evolving power scale. Speaking of Broly, let's talk about Super Saiyan 4. From what we've seen in Daima, this isn't the same crimson-furred, golden-eyed Super Saiyan 4 that Goku achieved in GT. Daima's take seems like a modernized primal Saiyan form, something that draws directly from potential of one's abilities. As stated by Goku at the end of Daima, it is a form that he always was aware that was possible for him to attain, but he didn't feel like it would work. Through the help of Neva's magic amplification, however, he was able to make the power his own. And when you think about it, Broly's entire fighting style is practically the prototype for that. Back in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, we learned that Broly never relied on the traditional Super Saiyan transformations to reach insane power. He was raised on Vampa, surviving by instinct, training against creatures far stronger than Saiyan children would ever face. Instead of learning to go Super Saiyan as a kid, he learned to tap into the Ozaru strength without actually transforming into one. This wrathful state we see in the movie, yellow eyes, towering aura, and bestial movement, is literally a halfway point between base form and a controlled grade 8. Now, Daima's Super Saiyan 4 concept looks like it takes the wrathful foundation and amplifies it with the refined energy control of a trained fighter. Think about how much of a head start Broly actually has. Goku and Vegeta would have relearned their primal instincts, and Broly never lost his. On top of that, Broly's growth rate is, and I'm not exaggerating, one of the craziest things in all of Dragon Ball. In his fight against Goku and Vegeta, we saw him go from being outclassed by Super Saiyan God Goku to overwhelming a fusion in just one battle. Every moment he fights, he adapts. He learns, he evolves. That's a terrifying advantage if you're talking about unlocking a form that demands raw instinct. So how could this actually happen in Super? The most logical scenario starts with Goku's current path. After the Moro and Granola arc, Goku is leaning heavily into mastering Ultra Instinct in all forms. Base, Super Saiyan, and whatever. But Ultra Instinct demands a clear mind and fluid movements, the polar opposite of a primal rage form. Goku might eventually hit a ceiling there and realize he needs another fighter to master the opposite side of the Saiyan spectrum, and that's where Broly comes in. Goku could see Broly as the perfect candidate to master the primal path, under Whis' supervision. Broly could train to control his wrathful state without losing power to blind rage, something we saw him struggle with in the movie. That control is the exact key Daima Super Saiyan 4 would require. Picture this. Broly starts training with Goku and Vegeta and maybe even sparring against Beerus for controlled drills. Slowly, he learns to stay in wrathful mode without breaking his composure. Over time, that stable primal energy starts to evolve. His hair shifts, his tail returns or regrows through Saiyan biology, and his aura sharpens. Eventually, the form crystallizes into Daima Super Saiyan 4, but with Broly's own spin. More muscle mass than Goku's vision, maybe a darker fur tone, and that signature green energy woven into the transformation. From a writing standpoint, this would solve a big Super problem. Goku and Vegeta's forms are already starting to blur together in power scaling. Giving Broly a totally different transformation lane lets the story expand the Saiyan arsenal without just making another Super Saiyan God variant. It also gives us a chance to explore the primal side of Saiyans again, but in a more modern context that connects to the current canon. And if you really want to make it impactful, have Broly debut this form in a major fight, maybe against a new villain who can shut down God Ki entirely, forcing the heroes to rely on pure natural Saiyan power. Suddenly, Broly's Daima Super Saiyan 4 becomes the trump card because it's rooted in instincts and older than God Ki itself. In short, Broly has the instincts, the raw power, the growth rate, and the primal control to not just reach Daima Super Saiyan 4 level, but possibly redefine what the form can do. And if Super Super ever wants to bridge the gap between his modern arcs and the legacy of the Primal Saiyans, this is the perfect way to do it. But what do you think? Leave a like on the video if you haven't yet. Until next time, 𝗕𝗔𝗟𝗟.